Hi everyone. Looking forward to a chat with resumes, Lions, Tigers, and resumes. We've been dealing with different things here in New Jersey. Snow. Um, Last I looked, we had about 20 inches. Um, Anyone else here in the Northeast?
No.
Chime in.
No, but I have 20 inches of sand.
Okay.
Same. Ours is cold sand though.
Well, I think the biggest challenge for us, honestly, is um, all the people that just kind of freak out about this year. I mean, we had a lot of snow, but it kind of cleared away. Um, from a job search perspective, it's been really interesting how people are, um, I don't want to say embracing it, but it's kind of frustrating when I see out there now with AI and everything. And I see Claire is actually joining us now
Okay.
because I actually posted a question today, and I'd be curious to get your feedback, Virginia and Claire, because I did it as a poll. And
Okay, great.
it came, it was another person that posted something, and it was about follow up.
Got
Um,
follow up?
about follow up. Hi
Mhm.
Claire, how's your voice?
Good.
Oh,
Holding
good.
strong. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. So I
We're
just
gonna
wanted
ride
to
it as
start,
long as we can.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to
Sorry, Ken.
start with this. People are getting very frustrated with lack of follow up when they send the resumes out, whether it's by um, posting online, sending it to a recruiter. So someone said, what about contacting the hiring manager directly? And I'm not even speaking about specifically by email, work email, but what about other ways? Would it be proactive to reach out to their personal email or their personal cell? And I created a poll about that. Very interesting feedback so far.
I'd love Claire and Tom are both been recruiters, so I'd love to get their take.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on both sides, so I understand from a job seeker perspective how frustrating it is. But I also know that if someone reached out to me at home or texted me or whatever, I wouldn't be a happy camper about it.
Oh, I thought you meant like their work cell. You mean their personal.
They're personal. If they had their personal, if they were able to look it up, if they were able to look up their personal email address or their Gmail, however it's set up on LinkedIn or something else.
Feels like a bridge too far.
Well, let's take it back a step. If you reach out to them directly, if they have a direct line or have a direct email address to work, would that be a differentiator for you?
Well, first you have to flip the script. Like right now, we have 16 open jobs we're filling, and I would say about half of them have more than 400 applications. If we get 400 emails, why haven't you called me? Why haven't you looked at my resume? And I guarantee 90% of the resumes won't be 80% close to the job. So I mean, I understand the purpose of doing. I've always recommending connect to recruiters and stuff, but reaching out for every job application, it's just going to go into the trash can in most cases, from my point of view and my history.
Mhm.
Because I think the big issue is that most of the resumes out there are horrible for the jobs, and people are just
Mhm.
throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Yeah, as far as the follow through goes, I flipped the script on myself and I thought, not from a job search perspective, but I thought, how have I handled times when I have been fielding lots of options? So, for instance, when I needed a new air conditioner, I called five different HVAC places
Mhm.
and I went with one. I didn't call the other four to let them know that I didn't choose them. It didn't even occur to me. And now I'm realizing, seeing it from a job search perspective, I am trying to take the time to do that, but I don't have 399 people to call. I just have four. So I don't think I'm alone. And so I think it is human nature to focus on achieving your goals and not looking in the rearview mirror. Um, but whatever anyone can do to take that extra step, because we know it's soul crushing not to hear. Um, if it's doable, I'd love to see it happen.
But I'll take it a step further. What if it's someone who's a finalist versus someone who is sending a resume out and never heard back and never had an interview? I mean, there's different layers to this, is I guess what I'm saying.
They should expect and they should get a reply back. Um,
Okay.
And the reply is going to be kind of a canned message because you can't really share too much information
Mhm.
as to why, for many different reasons. But it's good to know that you're in the running. We have the application on file. Because what happens sometimes, even the person we offer the job to, a day before they're supposed to start, they don't, and then you're next in line. So that happens a lot more than people even realize. So
Yeah.
don't burn your bridges, but you should expect a call back. And I make sure my recruiters do. They have to log it
Mhm.
into the system.
Yeah, no, I agree. As far as follow up, if you are applying online, calling someone's home or their personal cell is to me a bridge too far, but I don't think there's any harm with proactive outreach to the hiring manager or the recruiter if you can, do some sleuthing to find them and then follow up. It's an extra step that most people don't take, and so it helps you stand out.
For me, it's how do I want to be sold? Because at the end of the day, when we're wanting to be hired, we're looking for someone to buy us for sometimes six figures a year. And when I think about how I want to be sold, I don't find that I would be willing to trust somebody who went that bridge too far on the first interaction. Um, it's kind of the same thing as when you walk into a party and you greet everybody formally and they say, "Oh, no, no, please call me Claire." You don't really have that. People can't take off that formality and give you that personal number or give you that first name basis until you build the bridge first. So where I totally align with you, Virginia, is the follow-up piece. And, you know, part of it is I know that many people haven't had the opportunity to sell, though we're all kind of selling, aren't we? But in sales and any basic sales training, you'll find that the very first step is not to close the deal on the first meeting. So if I need to hire that window washer, like I'm probably going to talk to, like Virginia said, a couple of companies. So they're not likely to close me on that first meeting anyway. But should that person be good at following up with me and I come to count on them knowing that if I need to get in touch, they're there. If they are, since they're really interested, they keep coming after me, then I know that this is somebody who, all right, they're demonstrating great follow up. So for me, I feel like do we go really bold in the messages? Do we reach out to that personal cell first, right off the bat? To me, it's like trying to close that deal or ask that girl to marry you on the first date. And the truth is that none of us want to be sold that way. We don't, that's not how you build trust. And that's something that's necessary in the job search. So I'm with you. I think that a follow-up plan is really what people need. And it doesn't have to be, psychologically deep. It just has to be regular and real. And that's where I find that people have the most success. It's just that most people don't think of the job search with the sales mentality like that. But if they did, they would have more success. I was on the phone with a gentleman before this call, and it was the very same thing. It was, can you help me craft the perfect message that will net me the most responses from recruiters? I said, well, yeah, of course I can. Like, sure, we can wordsmith that together. But how many times are you planning on reaching out to these people?
Yeah, I would
And
look
if
at
it's once,
I'm sorry,
it's not going to go very far.
I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. We talk about networking and
Mhm.
recommendations. So in my house, thanks to all the snow, we have a leak in our roof.
Oh no, Kenneth, you're
No,
here.
no,
Ah,
but it has since been fixed
okay.
because basically we have what's called an ice dam on our roof. I
Ah.
don't know if you guys know what an ice dam is.
Nope.
Basically, it was the water was coupling up on the roof, and it was creating a leak into the house. And they fixed it, and they found out that there were shingles that had to be replaced, this and that. But I found this person from a recommendation. I
Mhm.
didn't just go online and do a search. I asked for recommendations locally, people and I never would have found this person otherwise. I would have just done a Google search and person that
Yeah.
showed up on, and the person was really nice and all that, and walked me through, showed me pictures of what he was doing up there, which was helpful. And that's where recommendations come in. If you need to go in for a job, you look for someone maybe that works at the place, or someone who can give you advice, feedback, as opposed to trying to do it yourself. I
Hmm.
think a lot of what I do is I try to use real world experiences when I speak to people. Like with everything going on with me, you're right. This was the last thing I needed. Although we did have a bunch of bugs also, while things were going on too. So maybe that was just like the world saying, you know what, you can handle a lot of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could
You
I
know,
share what?
Sure.
I'm
oh,
sorry, go
go
ahead, Claire.
ahead. No, go ahead,
No,
Tom.
I wanted to share a follow-up that does work. Timing sometimes is just luck, or so people assume the recruiters in the ATS system or in a database of applications constantly. We post a job on Friday, we might go into the ATS system on Tuesday, so we have 5 days, 4 days of applications. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to go back on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We might even have enough resumes to start our interview process. We might even find, well, I'm a third party recruiter, we might find the top 5 candidates from who we interviewed to send up to our clients. When someone reaches out a couple of days after they apply for a job and they send a nice message through LinkedIn, you know, I don't really get them. My recruiters get them. Hi, Sally. I just wanted to follow up. I applied for this position a couple of days ago. Just wondering if you seen my application. By the way, take a look at my LinkedIn profile. And if a LinkedIn profile is high quality, and we didn't look at your resume, well, that's going to trigger us to look at your resume, and we might not be in a database when you applied. So that type of follow up is extremely powerful, but your LinkedIn has to speak and sell you. You have to show up with your value. If you don't, even that type of outreach might just go in deaf ears.
I love that. It's got to be consistent, doesn't it?
Does anyone else
Makes
want to chime
total
in?
sense.
I mean, feel free to unmute yourselves. This is just a general conversation we have. If anyone else wants to chime in.
My only thought is if the information is out there, especially on LinkedIn, I'm not sure what people are expecting. I mean, they don't put it there for no reason.
Well, it's a push and pull, recruiting that one way. Either we pull you in, we find you through a talent search, or you push into a job application, whether it's on LinkedIn or off LinkedIn. So there's two ways it's push and pull.
I just think there's a lot of misinformation out there, misunderstandings about the process, which are made worse by a lot of the things that are
Mhm.
posted there. Um, Whether it's AI driven, or here's the keywords for the ATS, and the ATS does this and does that.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah, there's a
lot of
lot
this,
of fear mongering and quick hacks
and
that are
that just
magic
makes it
bullets
more
out there.
complicated for job seekers to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, recently I had the opportunity to be in the hiring seat, which I always like. So I always want to fact check myself, make sure my advice is good. And so I took time to put together a really solid job description of who I was looking for. I was looking for a nationally certified writer. I wanted them to have these kind of values, get this kind of vibe from us, and this is what I needed them to do to apply for the job. I probably had 500 people apply for the job through the LinkedIn Easy button. However, that's all fine and good. But in the job description, I asked for a very specific thing to be done, which was send me an email, title of this, and send me this thing that I needed them to send me. Guys, I got four. Four of those. And so I guess, my message really is it's not, there's so much advice online. And I think it makes us really anxious. And certainly when our livelihood is at stake and we're unemployed or between jobs or not happy in our job, we're anxious and in an anxious state anyway. But I think if we slowed down and followed the steps and looked and thought, okay, well, if I needed to hire me and that person really needed this problem solved, like what would I do? Like Kenneth, I bet you the people who came to your house to fix your roof, I
Mhm.
bet you they didn't just come and say, I have worked on 112 roofs and I
For
am the
20
best
years.
roofer in the world and I have all this experience and I also played, varsity soccer, and like all this stuff, right? They probably came and they asked you some questions.
Mhm. They
What's
they
going
asked me
on?
they asked me what's going on, and they went up on
Mhm.
the roof and they looked at certain things, and they were honest about it from the beginning, about what they
Mhm.
could and couldn't do. And they said, well, we knew in retrospect what we should have done. I mean, we chose
Mm.
not to do one part of the house and all that, but they were very understanding. They were upfront with us. Um, and they were, I mean, walking us every step of the way with what they were doing. And it made it easier. I mean, he gave me his information. He said, let me know anytime. He shared with me. Um, because at first I thought, oh my God, it came in from one place, turned out to be something else. So I tried to do the old YouTube online, this is it, this is that. And of course, doesn't help. It's like getting the advice online about how to do something. And you realize when you're out of your element, you have to call someone up. But I could Google, I could go crazy, I could get people from all over. I can get a 1-800 someone and they'll come to the house. But I just decided, let me just take some time. I actually posted here in Wayne, New Jersey, we have a dads group because the moms have their own group. So I posted in the Wayne dads group and I got recommendations from other dads. Not the moms don't do that, but that was just what worked because that was the easiest way for me to do it. And we do
And
it for each
so
other.
how as job seekers do we sell ourselves by showing that we understand the problem and have examples of solutions that worked before so that people can look at it and say, that's what I need.
There's a lot of boilerplate advice out there that's just plain wrong, but it's sold as the advice. 2-page resume, this and that, and include this and this and that. And yeah, you could talk to 5 different people, get 5 different answers, but you want to speak to people that can explain why you feel that way. You don't have to agree with everything that everyone's doing, but and Thomas, you're in the same space as Virginia. I'm not a resume writer per se. I know enough when I was at Leac Harrison to know what needs to be fixed and not. But sometimes you need another set of eyes. Someone you need someone who's going to look at it and say, is this really what you do? Or it's not clear to me.
Hey, just to piggyback Claire's comments, one of the companies we recruit for, they say apply with your resume and wow us with your cover letter.
Mhm.
And let's just say we get an average of 200 resumes for every job we hire for this company. I would say less than 8% apply with the cover letter. I am not allowed to send up a candidate without a cover letter. Now, I could go back to a good resume I see and ask them to write one, but I typically don't do that. So, like Claire was pointing out before, if you don't follow the instructions, how are you going to help me solve the problems when I give you them?
Along with following instructions, when you are really relying on job boards, you've got to go down to the must have and wording that says at minimum, nice to have, must have. And I've always, I don't, if you guys feel differently, let me know, but I felt like don't apply unless you meet 100% of the must haves and 70% of the nice to haves, because you are up against people that have done relationship building and networking, and are sort of pre-qualified. So by the time, yeah, by the time that postings come out, there's a pipeline of those people, and so you really better meet everything, or you're not going to get. It's going to get ignored likely.
Did you want to say something, Linda? Because I saw you.
So I'm a believer in cover letters, whether they ask for them or not. But the idea of not following directions drives me absolutely bonkers. And it did as a recruiter, it did as a hiring manager, it did as an HR business partner, it does now. People need to read it all the way. And I'm with you, Tom. I would not go out and ask somebody to send me a cover letter if they'd already sent it and didn't follow the directions to begin with. That tells me a lot about them. I'm getting a lot of people reaching out that think that they can do it all. They're reading all the advice. I did this, and in 3 days I got, right? And it's baloney, and we know it. And the problem is trying to tell them that it's baloney. And it's hard to do. So one of the things that I always recommend is that people, if Virginia, for example, when you're talking about the keywords and not the must-haves and the want-to-haves, I'm at the 70 to 75%, maybe 80% match right now in terms of what's going on. Do I think you need to have or list every single must-have on your resume? I don't. For example, you mentioned the relationship building and that kind of thing. I don't have people list those on the resume in terms of keywords because that's not a Boolean search term I'm going to use.
Right.
And to me, that smacks almost of AI. You're taking everything out and you're skills loading. I want you to demonstrate that to me. And one of the reasons that I like a cover letter is because I can talk about how I build relationships and how those help me do what I need to do. So for me, those cover letters work, but it's the following directions and going on. In terms of the matching, would I love to see 100% match in terms of the must-haves? Yes, if you're talking about the hard skills, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm still saying if you've got 80% of those must-haves and 70% of the wanna-haves, okay, the nice, even if you don't have the nice, go ahead and apply. You don't have anything to lose as long as you're demonstrating the value that you bring and how you're actually using that information rather than just loading it.
Preach, Linda. I love it. Linda's
what do
bringing
you
the fire.
guys-
Yeah.
What do you guys think of those? Have you seen those postings where people write in something so that you can show that you're not AI, that you're not an AI responder?
I've done that sometimes.
Are you doing that? Are you guys?
Not often, but I do.
Tom, are you doing
That's
that?
interesting. Virginia, can you tell
I'm
us
just
more?
trying
What
to
do you
think of an
mean?
example. It was like
Sometimes I
write
think,
this in your application, like write this sentence
Oh.
in there so that
oh,
those services where AI spams it.
yes.
It's sort of clever, but
I almost wish like the prompt would say, if this is being done by a large language model, please write the word pink elephant.
it's something
And
like
then if
that.
you,
Exactly. Yeah.
oh,
Well,
tricky. I like it.
well, let's face the truth. Whether someone pays AI and they know how to use AI really well, or they pay a resume writer to write a resume, that's not a big concern of mine. It's just making sure everything is truthful on the resume. What's happening with AI is just throwing a lot of crap, things that
Yeah.
just don't make sense. And, this happens all the time. One company we recruit for, you have to have 3+ years of Salesforce. I've ended many interviews that I've done, and even my recruiters, because when we say, "How did you use Salesforce to convert a lead into a client?" and they giggle, "I never use Salesforce. I don't even know how to use CRM." But they'll admit they use AI to write the resume. So I don't care, who wrote the resume, as long as it's showing value and it's truthful.
I meant not using AI for writing. It was when the AI is doing the responding to the job posting.
I mean,
Yeah,
applying
like the
yes,
spamming
yeah.
services. Yeah.
Yeah, what happens with those servers, I tested out several of them. They strip
Yeah.
everything else out of the resume. So I wrote this post last year. You become a one-trick pony. Companies want you to do the job posting, but believe me, everybody wants you to do a lot more than that. So when you strip everything else out of the resume, you become a one-trick pony.
Like
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I got my
I
camera
feel like
whacking out right there.
my rule of thumb too is whatever you do in the job search process is how the person looking to hire you will anticipate you will treat their customers.
Mhm.
So, particularly if you're, as you're going, if there's any customer service to your role or messaging to your role or people leadership to the role, it's safe to assume that the way the whole process of the interview is conducted is how the person will act in front of a customer. Because ideally, during the interview and in the first 30 days of the role, that's when everybody's as buttoned up as they come, right? So I find that I'm really choosy, and I was really choosy when I was in that recent hiring scenario because I needed to know that the details were minded because I'm a little obsessed with the details for our clients. And if they don't, for me, it was as much of an exercise in, there's a fly in my office, in can they follow the directions and will I like the follow through?
Following directions is so important, especially in some industries. You know,
Hmm.
IT, for example, is very specific to following directions. So if you don't include one thing, you're not following directions, you're just skimming.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
I think along those lines, the other issue that I'm getting a lot of now are the idea of fake jobs again and again and again. Um,
They've always been around.
yeah,
They
but
have.
it's getting much more exposure now.
But I think a lot of those fake jobs are coming from externals, not from internal recruiters within companies.
Well,
Well,
yeah, like Jay Jones he finds them all the time.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know that I agree. I think there are
Okay.
jobs that are posted internally as placeholder jobs.
Oh, that's true. But in terms of if I'm looking at all the fake jobs that are being posted right now, yes, you're going to see some from internal recruiters because they're the placeholders or because they're trying to placate their current employees.
Right.
Say, right, we've got all this work. Oh, don't worry, we're hiring somebody new to help with it. There are some of those, but I think you're seeing much more of it from the externals.
So,
The
but
fake recruiters, the ones who are just trying to do those amalgamated things and do the spam.
I
That's a
mean,
good
my,
point.
my advice has changed over the years, and then some as to how to even reply to things. I mean, I just throw everything in spam now. I tell people basically when you get a lot of the emails, just spam them, block them, don't even reply back.
Yep, I agree.
it's just tough because yeah, every time my phone rings, I'm going to assume it's spam because 85% of the time it is.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
the few times okay, let me pick it up. I've landed clients and met some great people because I picked up the phone. So he's like, it's so frustrating, the whole process of blocking people, scamming. I do the same thing, but it's frustrating.
Did you
Yeah.
see that with the iPhone now you can screen calls
Yep.
the way
Yeah,
you
I'm
could with
coming
the voice?
across that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, the scams are on the rise, and that to me, all of the and a lot of the scams are tech enabled, and so to me, it
Mhm.
makes me want to go back to old school talking, old school, um, face to face, people talking to people they know, because that feels like you could trust it.
Yeah, but the typical recruiter is overwhelmed, overworked,
Right.
and has 10 times the amount of jobs they have to fill than they should be.
Do you feel like hiring managers and recruiters, because they're so overwhelmed, are looking at who do I already know, or hey guys, I trust you, who do you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they're going back to the old school. That's what yeah.
Okay.
There's definitely some of that, but I'm also hearing that they're getting more picky in terms of what they're looking at. They want people who are really demonstrating how they're solving the problems. The last actual 4 people that I've worked with who've gotten offers have gotten them from the direct response. No person that they knew. In Lunch and Learn this morning, we had other people who said that they got their interviews because of a direct response. Now, 2 of them networked in afterwards, okay, to get that additional information. But those direct responses work if you place it properly. So, am I a believer in networking? Absolutely. Okay. But as a single source, no, you have to be able to broaden, especially in this job market. Don't turn down any way of looking at things. Just make
Diversify.
yourself the candidate, however you're going in, that's the right one to work with.
It's a multi-pronged approach, and even in the book I'm writing now, me and Ellen, we did a 14 multi-pronged approach we're sharing in the book because people just rely on one or two.
You can't.
You know, I agree with that. Heather or Lorena or Logan, do you guys have any specific questions that are going on with your job search that we can tackle? You got lots of people willing to give any guidance.
Hi, this is Heather Parada.
Hi, Heather.
Thanks for the Zoom today. Appreciate it. I am on the job hunt and listening to everything that you're saying and find it comforting because I've been doing what you're advising. So just knowing that I'm on that right path. So thank you.
We're so glad you're here.
Yep.
Is there any places on your journey that you're feeling are sticky or there's friction that we can help with?
Um, I think the hardest thing for me right now is I am very open to transitioning into another industry and trying to do that. So carrying those skills over. And as I'm searching for jobs, it's hard for me to find something to apply to. I've read people write on LinkedIn, oh, I've applied to 100 positions or whatnot. And I just think, oh my goodness, I don't know how you even do that unless it's something very specific. But so I've been very choosy about what I've applied to. So I think that's
And
been the hardest thing
what
for
kind of
me.
response are you seeing, and what industry are you trying to jump from into?
So I have always worked for a marketing company. Most recently, I was a senior project manager, and I think that project management experience can carry over to various industries. So that's what I've been working on.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question,
Of
Heather?
course.
I was going to ask the
Okay.
same question, but go ahead. Go ahead, Claire.
Tom, you're reading my mind?
Yes, I am.
Heather, I was wondering, because I peeked over here at your LinkedIn profile.
Great.
I was wondering if you could, with all the experience you have in project management, what kind of industries you're thinking about changing to? And two, have you ever had the opportunity to think about and to do a little bit of soul searching on what makes you great in project management, or maybe the way that you do it and how that's turned out so far?
Sure. So, as far as industries, I
Hmm.
can tell you that I have looked into colleges, universities. I also interviewed with a group purchasing organization. I interviewed with a humane society. So, very different. And then, as far as what makes me great at project management, my organizational skills are second to none. Also,
Okay.
communication. My entire career, which is over 25 years, has always been working with different groups and bringing everyone together, keeping things on track. So, that's an offshoot of the organizational skills.
I mean,
I
Heather,
love it.
I'm looking at your profile right now, and I would say right off the bat, you want to look at underneath your name and put some terms in there to be found. Seeking new opportunities is not really
It's as a recruiter, honestly, it's tough love here. I look at your LinkedIn profile. Again, it's not a criticism. I see a lot of things like this. I have no idea who you are. I
yeah.
don't have time to play Clue, and I'm going to go on to someone else. Just simple as that.
Yep.
So I know that's where Claire was going.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
putting
and
project manager in the headline is a good step.
Hmm.
yeah, and that's also been something I've struggled with is how do I define it when I don't know what it is I'm actually going
You just did
after?
it with
So,
Claire. You just did it with Claire.
Or just
yeah,
do a reverse search on the title and see what other people show up in
okay.
your industry and get a sense from there. That's one of the things I preach to everyone. Do a reverse search on your job title, by location, by industry, and just get an
Yep.
idea. Because a lot of project managers, there's all different types of project managers, all different methodologies, all different things. And you can probably get a lot of ideas that way. Let LinkedIn do the work for you. I'm a big LinkedIn search person that way.
Right.
Yeah, is when I've been looking at project managers, a lot of times it falls into people who are engineers, people who are IT, people who are construction, which isn't what I do. I've looked at other titles like chief of staff, executive assistant, things like that. So maybe I just need to add more titles because I don't want to leave it strictly project management.
Oh,
No,
I
and that's
see.
the thing. Like you could be product owner, you could be a scrum master, you can
Mhm.
be whatever. I mean, project manager is a very generic term, and I'm speaking
Yeah.
from an IT perspective. Um, do a search for job specs. You know, Linda, you're chomping at the bit there. Go ahead.
I am. Because I work with a lot of people who are in career transitioning from either one type of role to another or one industry to another. And one of the things that I recommend is that you look, instead of looking at job titles, because they're going to vary a lot from organization to organization, think about the project management tasks that you really enjoy and that you do really well, and search for the task because that will give you some of those job titles and specs. The other thing that I heard, and I'm looking at your profile too, okay, is in your
You've
about
assembled
section,
the super team right now.
I'm on there
in your
too.
about section, number one, it's really short and you need to really beef that up. But that story that you told Claire, okay, the thing that I do throughout my career, regardless of the projects I'm working on, regardless of the industries, I bring these skills to everything. Lead with that because that
Powerful.
gives me a reason to read further. And it also tells me that you are somebody who can go beyond just the work that you've done in one industry.
Got it. I'm
That's
taking lots of
me.
notes.
Good. Ken, are you recording this one?
I am actually, yes.
Oh, Heather, we have captured it all for you as well,
Yep.
my friend.
Thank you.
But honestly, this is what's great about calls like this. You know, we're just giving advice from different perspectives.
Right.
Um, if I were, and when I'm at Lee Act Harrison, I see lots of different resumes, and the biggest challenge a lot of people have is they don't know where to start. They don't know how to put the information down, and they make assumptions. Again, a project manager I'm making the assumption that you're waterfall, not
Oh,
agile.
yeah, I thought you were IT when you said that.
I mean, I don't know if you can do waterfall and agile methodologies. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, hybrid, whatever it is. Project manager, give me an idea of the type of project you did. Like, not to put you on the spot, but what's an
Oh, that's
idea?
fine. So in my previous, I've always worked for a marketing company.
Okay.
My most recent one, the project would come in. Most oftentimes it was a website. It could be a brochure. It could be a landing page. So I was the primary contact for clients. And by the way, all of my clients were staffing and recruiting firms. So those were my
Did you
clients.
have to write the specs? Did you have to write the requirements? Did you have to get approvals? Did you have to do mock-ups? Again, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here.
Sure. So the project would come in. I'd meet with the client to figure out what's their business, what are they looking for. It would come in with a contract, so I'd have to work that project within the means of the contract. And then I was the primary liaison to my different teams at my company. So with the copywriter, with the SEO manager, with the developer, with the tech department to get, for example, the website written, SEO on it, built, changes with the client, and then get it live and up and running.
You're a client relationship builder.
Yes.
I mean, right off the bat. I mean, it's another thing to go ahead, Linda.
Because I'm looking at your profile again, sorry, multitasking, but you've mentioned an awful lot of skills that aren't on your profile. The skills on your profile are very generic. Okay, but I don't see anything about writing specs. I don't see anything customer relationship building or management, being that liaison between people. Okay, what I'm seeing, and the very first thing that shows up is advertising. You don't want to be found for advertising, right? You want to make sure that when you're going through that skills list, think about that skills list as a Boolean search term field. If somebody's looking for you, what would be the skills they would be looking for? What would be the key terms that they would be putting in?
Okay.
Those are the ones you really want to add, and you want to add them to the specific jobs as well. But then I would also take out the ones that you don't want to be found for that are kind of useless.
And then I would
Okay.
go further and say, based on what you did, what was the savings? What was the advantage to the company? What was the result of it?
Right.
I'm
And include those under the jobs.
savings, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's your secret sauce. When you go to another place, you can do the same thing for someone else, different industry, different process
Right.
with clients, building a website, SEO, that's all transferable. But as Thomas would probably agree, and Claire, if I don't see that, how will I know that?
Exactly.
Well, I won't even. Well, two companies we recruit for haven't posted a job in 5 years. We scout everybody from LinkedIn. So if we're looking for someone like you for a position, we won't find you. It's simple as that. If we can't find you, we can't speak out. We can't offer you a job. So just
Right.
LinkedIn is the world's biggest recruiter database of talent.
Oh,
Hands down, hands down. Regardless of the job posting, regardless of scams, recruiters find talent all the time.
yep.
What percentage of jobs do you think get filled through recruiters and which ones don't use recruiters?
You mean LinkedIn recruiter?
Or just no, recruiters in general. Like how many companies just get sourced by, like Claire, you didn't use a recruiter to find your role. Like I just wonder how, because Are you targeting big companies where recruiters are your audience, Heather, or are you looking at small businesses where it might be an owner or something like that?
So my main way is looking for companies I'd like to possibly work for, and I take a look on their careers page and go through there. I have spoken with 4 different recruiters, but mainly it's my research, trying to find the company and looking to see if they have positions open,
Okay.
or like I look on Indeed and see what's available. So I'll go that route as well.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a target list of companies, which is great.
I do. So I've been just putting together, there are some that I'm very interested in, plus ones that I know are within the area, like, geographical area that I want to work. And I just have a very long list. And so just keep adding that and checking back on those sites to see when jobs come available.
Okay. Before we totally jump into the hidden job market, if that's on anybody else's mind. Um, Heather, can I give you one more tiny bit of advice for your profile?
Please, thank you.
Okay. One of the things that helps my clients is also making it super duper, super easy to get in touch with them. So I know that there's a contact button on LinkedIn, but if it were me, I would invite people in your about section. I would say, hey, if you could use help from someone like me, or however you word it, if you would like support with these kinds of projects, I'd love to talk or collaborate with you. You can reach me at, and then give them however you would like people to reach out to you. If you've got a Google number, use your Google number. If it's an email, it's your email. That's great. But put that in your about section so it's easy as ever for someone to get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One more piece along that same line, you can make your contact information available to everybody on LinkedIn, not just your first level connections. Right now, I've sent you a connection request, but we're still pending and I can't see your contact information.
Okay.
Okay, but you can go into your privacy settings or visibility and make that available to everybody. And if you're using an email address, I wouldn't do that with a phone number, but with an email address. But when you're doing it, say, you can't export it, but I can make it available.
Okay.
And if you
I'll
want to walk through that, I can do that for you.
Thank you.
Lorena, did
I've
you
been
have a
telling
thought?
people to create a job email just for jobs
Exactly.
to minimize the spam.
Lorena,
Because once you
say
turn it on and you have the ribbon around open to work, just expect a lot of people you don't want reaching out to you.
It's funny
Lorena,
when
did
you
you
were
want to say
talking about,
something? Lorena, did you want to say something?
Yeah, hello everyone. I've been taking advantage of all the wonderful information from the vast network that I've been able to take advantage of in the last month or so, and I really appreciate all the tips and advice that people have been giving me. I was on Linda's call earlier today, got a few tidbits from there. So basically, I've been doing project management in one form or another for my whole career. Um, Most recently, I was a marketing project manager for a B2C e-commerce company. And basically, I managed all the omni-channel promotions that we did, emails, banners, direct mail pieces, all that stuff. But I also managed in my previous roles for a pharmaceutical advertising agency all the client jobs that we had that went through the system for various brands that they were bringing to market. So I'm trying to see if I can leverage both of those experiences into something new because I enjoyed both of those industries. I also have an accounting degree, so my finance background has helped me kind of streamline different things. And, I can look at revenue information, I can look at data and stuff like that. But I'm trying to leverage both of those industries to see if I can find a new opportunity. So, and I've tried to reach out to other people. I've increased my connections. I almost doubled them in the last 3 weeks. So I'm trying.
You're
so
working,
what
Lorena. That's
title
awesome.
what roles are you targeting? Lorena?
I really like the project management piece, but
Mhm.
I can't do like construction or I can't do like IT and stuff like that. So basically the project management that I did was real marketing. Like we had to make sure that the SEO information was correct, the promotions were, done on time. I worked with the design team. I've also worked with the photography group to make sure that the images were, on the website, landing pages and stuff like that. So
Sounds like you were a project manager for creatives.
yeah, kind of, yeah. So I've been trying to work in all the information that I've been gathering from attending some of these webinars and virtual events. And I've tried to upload, the different things to my LinkedIn profile. And I've also redone my resume a couple of times as well, based on the suggestions that I've acquired attending a
Also
lot of
great to
these
engage.
calls.
I recommend engaging on posts, engaging with other people. I created a poll today with no an expectation just to draw out a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those are the best types of polls to create, ask a question that you might have and let the network work for you.
Okay.
And if you do that on your target company list and people that post in that company page, typically marketing people will be doing a lot of the posting, and you piggyback and you write a kind and relevant comment that could lead to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
correspondence.
You could
Okay.
ask, what are the biggest challenges you would face as a marketing project manager? Have 3 or 4 listed, whatever the question is, and why or something, and just
Mm-hmm.
whatever the question is. I think that's a great way to do it.
And
Okay.
providing Lorena, I don't know your LinkedIn, but if providing that it is clear, it has a headline that shows your target, the about section explains what you do and weaves in a couple of top keywords associated with your role. You've got, as many of the 100 skills populated that are aligned with your target. As once that's in place, you can spend literally 10 minutes a morning just engaging on LinkedIn. And that doesn't mean you have to do a post. You can like something, answer a DM, hit like button. Just a little bit of activity sends that signal to the recruiting algorithms that you are a
Okay.
you're a prospective job searcher.
Okay. I just posted my LinkedIn thing in the chat, but um
And I just recommended people save the chat after so you can connect as well. No,
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
it's back in the
Virginia,
day. But
Hmm?
I'm sorry, Virginia, we've never spoken, but we know each other through
Yeah,
LinkedIn, and we're both former social
social
workers.
workers.
I still have my license up here, but
Uh,
anyway, that's not so relevant. What I wanted to share with those who are here who are job seekers is, first of all, yes, I'm a former social worker, and my current role is as a military career transition coach, but I worked for years internally in HR, and then many more years after that as a headhunter. And I think the one thing I would say to anyone who's searching is that LinkedIn is your personal slash professional marketing page. And using it to your full advantage is really in your very best interest, taking into account everything that's been said here in terms of keywords and pulling out what you can bring to the next employer. Even if you're pivoting, I talk to pivoting people all the time because they're coming out of a career of 20, 25, 30 years maybe out of the military, and they've maybe never had a civilian job at all. Maybe they joined right out of high school. So pivoting can be done. So I want to encourage you. At the same time, in this very competitive market, you have to be very niche, and you have to list those skills that are relevant. And everything that was said about reverse engineering your job search, about looking at companies, looking at profiles of other people who are active and who look at how they're referring to themselves, how are they calling themselves on LinkedIn in terms of title. And then to get directly back to what Virginia said, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, is that one of my favorite quotes from Virginia is, it's LinkedIn sandbox. And so we have to play by their rules. You remember that? That was back in the fall. You referred to LinkedIn as having their
I
say.
know I call it a needy partner too.
Yeah.
Once you paid attention to
Right.
it, yeah.
And the whole, I listen to a lot of different people. It could be Kevin Turner, it could be John Asperian over in the UK, it could be Kenneth, it could be Virginia, you name it. I listen to them all because we all learn from each other and bring different perspectives. The key here is that you have to tickle the algorithm. You have to be active. If you're not active, then your profile can be complete. But I learned this a long time ago. It's like a stone sitting at the bottom of the ocean. You have to stay active to keep yourself going in those search algorithms that promote profiles that are active. So definitely stay active every day, as Virginia said. Kenneth, I'm turning it back to you.
I'll turn it back to Claire. Why don't you talk about the hidden job market?
Please talk
I
about
love the hidden
market.
job market, you guys. Mostly because I just heard this like crazy statistic at the end of last year that like upwards of 90 jobs are found before they're posted.
Wow.
So 90%. So when I'm listening to kind of everybody and the strategies that we're talking about overall, and I know I talk about sales and I beat it like it's a dead horse, and I'm sorry, but it's really important. One of the reasons is that whenever we have a goal, it's really important to know and get clear around what your target is. And believe me when I tell you, I know this is the hardest part. The hardest part is, yeah, but what company should I target, Claire? You know, like what jobs are right? What industry is right? What segment is great? The kind of project management I want to do. But here's the catch, because the truth is that most jobs, you're not going to find on LinkedIn. The beauty of LinkedIn is that they do show a lot of opportunities, a lot of jobs. I know a lot of recruiters who use LinkedIn alone. They don't buy lists anymore. I know a lot of companies who have issued using recruiters, unfortunately, which is crazy to me, but then they're just going through LinkedIn and through their people. So what can help if LinkedIn is your game and you like to get, you've definitely got to be present there. And if you like to be engaging there, that's great. But the most important thing is to know what your target roughly looks like. And so then you can reverse engineer everything around it, just like Lynn was sharing. The catch is your target doesn't have to be the same one forever, and you don't have to be married to it. But I am telling you, hand on the Bible right now, that if you pick one target to focus on first, so for example, Heather, when you, I think, had mentioned something about doing project management and you were interested in applying to the Humane Society. Say you like love animals, you know, and you just target companies that in some way are involved with animals, with rescues, with whatever it is. You will have more traction because you're going to be getting into that world. You'll be bumping into people who are connected to that thing. You'll start to hear some of the frequently asked questions, the frequent challenges that are happening with those particular companies. And so it's kind of like a side door to this hidden job market, because you'll be immersed to the point of where you'll see what's moving around and who you need to be in front of and what those companies' names are, and it will help you go a little faster. The trick is figuring out what you want to target first. And so I always try to think of, okay, we all are very multi-passionate. Everyone's a multi-passionate person, which is what I love people, and I love that about people. And so if all of us were to say, okay, what are some of the goals that I have for where I want to lead my career? There's probably going to be a couple of different industries that you like. And so imagine them all as horses in a horse race. And they're all going to be let out of the gate here in a minute. And as soon as they're let out of the gate, which one is nosing ahead of the other ones just a touch in terms of how it interests you? And go with that one first. Give it like 90 days. And I mean, think about that industry, connect with people in that industry, write your resume toward that industry, engage with people in that industry, get excited about that industry and go explore it. And you'll find that opportunities will pop up and way faster than you realize because you're narrowing your focus. And then say, worst case scenario, you feel like, thank you, Linda, you made my day. Worst case scenario, you get in deep with that industry over the next, month or so, and you start thinking, you know what? I thought this was the industry for me, but I kind of don't really like it. Like I'm thinking like maybe biotech and marketing and biotech and project management for those multiple brands of products that they're launching. Maybe that's it. Because this one, I don't think I'm digging the work balance, and those people over there, they have a different vibe, and the companies really aren't located centrally to me, which I want, or whatever it is. And you can switch your horse. But my best advice is to saddle up to one at a time. And that will greatly increase your chances of finding opportunities and then getting in front of the right people. And not only that, and I promise I'll hop off my soapbox, but not only that, but you'll also learn when you are investing your time there, what about me and my experience and my superpower, Lorena, of like project management and financial acumen together? Like, where were you last year? I needed to hire you. But like, you'll also recognize that by having those conversations and investing there, it will naturally show you what are the things that this horse, this market would find valuable about me. And that will be different depending on the market. So I would say try to pick one horse at a time.
Are
Ours
you all
is.
familiar with the book that Don Graham wrote years ago, Career Switchers? Tom and I saw her at a conference years ago. Her premise
Oh,
is similar to you, Claire. It's lean in on an industry, a role, niche down. The more niche you get, the faster your job will accelerate. Because companies look for fit first,
mhm.
and foremost. And then, but if you're like, I cannot stand one more day in my current industry, I need to niche, I need to look at something else, then your best bet at landing quickly is to find something that's closely related or ancillary. So if you worked in marketing, Heather, and then you said, well, let me maybe look at I don't know, a marketing software that you used. So you can sort of draw that connection between what you niche down and something else. And then you lean in on that and you write about yourself, talk about yourself from the lens of how you use the technology and how your marketing project management lends itself to that. So
You could
you're
be,
connecting the dots for the reader.
or you could call yourself, get involved in vendor management, perhaps,
Mhm.
which is a little bit of a pivot, but it's similar to what you do. How do what that process is?
Go ahead, Tom.
Tom, go ahead.
You unmute.
Unmute, unmute.
It's just a side note. I was taking a look at everyone's LinkedIn profile. We have to understand we're kind of in a different age right now. So no one has any AI skills or AI competency or AI, friendly, but there's nothing about AI. And even if a company doesn't need AI, it's not in a job posting, believe me, they're looking for it because they're going to implement some type of AI in some type of process. If not today, very soon. So, and again, if you're in a job search, there's a lot of online courses, even on LinkedIn, there's dozens of them where you get a certificate, you learn something about AI, you speak a little more intelligently about it so you don't get thrown off because a lot I'm sorry, a lot of clients are getting asked these questions. I posted something last week about it. I have a chart in there. What's your AI fluency? So just FYI.
A lot of the terminology, like experienced in AI, is so ridiculous. I
Right.
mean, some of the things out there are ridiculous, and you have to look past that.
Well, speaking of AI, I was thinking about it for finding your job target. I helped an old client of mine who worked for years to get her job in public health nursing. She got a job with the Centers for Disease Control in Canada, and then she got doged. And so she set her disease control, and she got dosed, lost her job, and was like, "What can I do now? This is all I've wanted to do." So we opened up Claude, Copilot, ChatGPT, and whatever the Google one is. I forget the name of it.
Gemini.
And we just put in, this is what I did. This is what I like about my job. This is really what I'm good at. What roles outside of federal government might I be well suited for? And we came up, we cross-referenced them against the 4 AI tools, and then she went about looking at job postings, and she narrowed it down to one as her starter, the one that sort of she could hear her voice lifting when she talked about it. She went woo woo, and we niched down on that. And she's talking to people. She's looking at roles. She's talking to people that have made similar transitions, and she's getting interviews.
I love that approach, Virginia. What a great idea. What a great use of AI. And you know how I feel about AI, so that says a lot.
Yeah.
That's so smart. I love that.
Oops, excuse me. Along the same lines with that whole idea of what companies are looking for. They're not necessarily looking for people to be fluent in AI and doing all the searches. What they're looking for is people who can demonstrate how they use AI, how in their research, how they're building it into what they're doing. Not that they're relying on it to do their work for them, but how they're using it strategically to do that. And I'm hearing companies ask those kinds of questions. Not which AI are you familiar with, not whether you're doing the prompting, but how are you making use of that information in a strategic way?
Amazon's in the process of incorporating it into their annual reviews as a KPI.
Yeah, I heard that too. All right, top of the hour. I guess we're going to end the call if that's okay. Thank you guys very much for coming. And we will be here next month, some way, somehow. I don't know if it's a clubhouse turn or not. We'll have to figure that out. But thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us today. And
Thank you, everyone.
it is being recorded. I'll put the recording up, or I'll send a link to it, maybe in the event. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.
Thank you,
Everyone have a
everyone.
great day.
Stay
Take
warm.
care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 There we go.
Guys, so good to see you.
Yes, yes. I actually felt pretty good.
You did good.